In the Second World War, Japan had to use ox carts to transport their planes to the airfields. So, how effective was Japanese air power in the Second World War? Well, it was split between the army and the navy, and they didn't get along. Nakajima, an arms manufacturer, had to put a dividing wall in their factory to keep the two factions apart. In 1931, Japan invaded Manchuria, and then in 1935, invaded parts of Inner Mongolia. And then in 1937, with the Marco Polo Bridge incident, a full scale of China started, and Japan dominated the skies. And the Japanese Army Air Force mainly focused on ground support, and the Japanese Naval Air Force focused on strategic bombing. An issue with Japanese aircraft was their engines. They didn't have the best range, and when bombing raids into the interior of China started, they couldn't provide significant cover to these bombers, and this led to heavy losses to the Japanese. So what happens? The Nakajima Ki-43 comes in. This aircraft had an increased range of what other Japanese fighters had. This meant that Japanese could protect their bombers on bombing raids. And on top of that, Western advisors believed it was the Zero which the Japanese Navy was using, but this is not true. And it was the second most produced aircraft by the Japanese in the Second World War. The Nakajima Ki-43 could also reach up to speeds of 308 miles per hour. However, by 1944, Japanese air power dominance over China began to wane, and this is because China was getting more and more weapons from the United States, and Japan just couldn't keep up with Allied production. And also, Chinese pilots were trained in India to help combat the Japanese, and also the Allies had learned a lot from Japanese flight patterns and Japanese tactics over the course of the Second World War.